more people into the room in the meantime. Okay, so we'll just start. So anybody that comes in, we can do a recap at the end for them. Welcome once again. My name is Jessica. My name is Jessica. Who am I again? I don't know. A lot of people know who I am here, I think. For those that don't know, my name is Jessica. I'm a data scientist. I run the community data tech space with a couple of other people here on the call. Um, and basically, I think every month we host sessions like this to get more people interested in the data field, to give those that are also starting our motivation, and also to share knowledge because we know we have a couple of people that are already in the field: data scientists, data analysts, machine learning engineers, and specialists. So the idea behind this session is to basically get to know more about what it entails to be working in the data field. I get a lot of questions daily. A couple of people, I think Ayo is here. I can see Ayo here. I met Ayo on LinkedIn yesterday, and he had a lot of questions around that as well. So I told him just join the session today. Any question you have, we'll definitely answer them. So for this session, for us in data tech space, we're always looking to collaborate. So we're always looking to share knowledge. It's not just about us giving out. We're also looking to gain more from people that are experts in the field because none of us are experts, to be honest. No one's an expert. We're always learning every day. So without much said, today's session will be all about, I call him OT. So if you hear me say OT, please don't mind. You see his name called as Otu Moses on the screen. That's his name, his official name. I call him OT. So OT will be sharing with us his experience. He's been working in Sterling Bank, Nigeria for a while. And you also see on the flyer that I put that is going to teach us how to land remote gigs with the FANGs. For those of us that maybe didn't Google what FANGs mean, FANGs stand for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So those are the big tech companies, the big B2C. They call them B2C companies, business to consumer companies. Others are like Microsoft, IBM's, but the Microsoft are more like business to business companies, so they don't really list them here. But basically, they're all big tech firms. A lot of us are also looking to advance in our careers. And the reason why I said going to teachers is also talk more about that. He recently went through the whole interview process with Facebook. And some of us might wonder, oh, he went through, he just interview did. But the thing about it is when it comes to the FANGs, once you're in their database and you've gotten through the different stages, right, it's just a matter of time. Once another role comes up, they call you. So I'll leave OT to do all the talking now. If as it speaks, please, if you have any question at all, just type it in the chat. The last session we had, what we did was we took the questions. I was typing them for the person that session, and after it was done, basically by asking him questions. And if at any okay, when it's time for Q and A, I'll tell you how it will go. But if at any point OT is saying something, you need to ask him to clarify. Just type it in the chat. That works best for us. And if he sees it, I can call his attention to it to clarify it. Or when he's done speaking, then he will do that for us. So OT, the floor is yours. Thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this. If you need to tweet, some of the guys that have been in our previous sessions know this. If you need to tweet about this session, just use the hashtag I'll put in the chat now. DTS farm. I think DTS farm works best, or DTS event. I think that was using before. Because I tweet a lot, so it helps me to, and you can tag this. It helps me to retweet it when I see your tweets, right? Please, thank you. Just type it in the chat here. All right, so I'm done now with the things.
Yeah, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah. If you can hear OT, please type in the chat, please, so that it's not just me hearing it. You can type in the chat. Thanks.
Okay. So welcome once again to this session, and I want to believe that every one of us in this session, we have experts, data analysts, data scientists, and beginners as well. So anyways, we can all learn from it. So yeah, my name is Moses Otsu. Actually, I like being called by my initials OT. I don't know, it's spelled OT anyways. So yeah, so I am a data analyst and I work with Sterling Bank. I work with Sterling Bank as a human capital data analyst, meaning I work in the HR department. Yeah, and the tools I use are Excel, Power BI, SQL, and Python. Yeah, but basically the tool I use the most is, let's say 80% of the time is Excel. So one thing about being a data analyst is do not throw your Excel in the box, because if you're in Nigeria, basically everything you're going to be working on is, most of the analysis you'll be done using Excel. But I use Excel, and the bulk of the remaining 20% I use Power BI, because without visualization, your analysis is not complete. Yeah, so Power BI for me is my most loved tool. Although I use Excel 80% of the time, but 20% the 20% of the time I use Power BI, it turns out to be the most effective. If you understand what Pareto principle is, we will explain that later. Okay, so what are the major challenges I faced working as an HR data analyst? Okay, so my background is in electrical electronics engineering. Then I switched to data analysis. And today I find myself doing data analysis in human capital aspect. So the challenge that I faced when I joined the banking sector is, one, I had zero knowledge about banking. CASA, retail banking, this and that, every of those banking details, I had zero knowledge. Two, I had zero knowledge about human resource. So it was tough for me. When you're learning data analysis, you just work with any data. Maybe they just give you one sales data and you're working with it. And along the line, you find yourself we apply for any data analytics job we see, whether it's in the airline industry. I did my maintenance engineering in an airline industry. So whether you you apply for jobs coming from the airline industry, coming from oil and gas, different areas of different field of work. So the challenge I faced when I joined, like I mentioned, I had zero knowledge about banking, I had zero knowledge about HR. So it was tough for me, they give you a chart that time, they're like, okay, please, I want you to find attrition rates. I want you to find, do a dashboard that represents head count. How would you do that? I don't know anything about HR. So I faced this by asking a lot of questions and joining a community, data community. Like I belong to several data communities in which data tech space is one of them. I appreciate data tech space and Jessica a lot. So you might not be fortunate to find yourself running data analysis in your core area, or let me say in your educational background. For example, if you are in health, you might find yourself doing data for sales and marketing. If you are in engineering, you might find yourself doing data for banking or a segmented area like HR analysis. So one problem we face a lot is in domain knowledge. It's very important that if you get these roles or if you're applying for these jobs, especially if you're at the interview stage, you have to do a lot of background check, upgrade your knowledge on the domain in which you're applying for. If you're applying for an health data analytical rather, you should know more about how data can be used to help in that area. Also, if you're applying for sales, you should know how, because when I applied for this job, I just applied because I was looking for a data analytics job. So I got to the interview. On interview day, they asked me, how can you use data to solve HR problems? And fortunately for me, I had done my background search on, HR metrics, head count, attrition rate, and several other HR metrics. Yeah, so it's important. So I had a problem because I work in an environment, I work at the HQ, and most of us work remotely. Most of us work from home. So when you go to work, in the morning and you're the only person in the whole of 11th floor, like, okay, and they send you data, like, okay, I want you to let me get data from retail banking. I want you to let me get data from retail banking and get data from exits, people who handle exits. And I want to know the number of why people are exiting the company. You know, those are HR metrics. And like, how do I do these things? Who do I ask? There's nobody to ask. So you should be very good in asking questions and reaching out to people. So I set up a lot of Zoom calls and now I'll just ask, okay, sir, please, I've been given this data and I don't know this and this about the banking industry. How would I solve it? And it's okay, then it takes you to performance. Okay, this is how we measure performance. This is how we measure this and this. So leverage on asking questions, leverage on reaching out to people and joining data communities, big data communities. Data's tech space is one of them. Yes, so like I said, I make use of Excel, SQL, and some other tools. But you can't say you are a data analyst and you're like, you know, Excel looks like the smallest of the tools. Well, there's not that very small, but it looks like that. Everybody does love the fancy tools. We love to Tableau, Python, and SQL. You know, when you tell people I can use SQL, I can use Python, I can use Excel. People say I can only use Excel, but like, well, this guy doesn't know anything. Understand? But you get to work and someone just calls you because when I was doing my interview, I blew their mind. So everybody looks at me as a magician. So be like, oh, that's the data guy. I mean, I have this problem with data. Or can you come help me solve it? And they call you and like, okay, I have this, and they show you the data in Excel. And like, I want to do a conditional formatting where I would only highlight rows that have less than 3 letters. And like, I can't use Excel. I can use Power BI. How would you look like? You will look funny. Understand? So it's very important to know the basic. Know the basic. If you're a data scientist or a data analyst or a business analyst, business analyst, whatever, know the basic, and the basics is in Excel. Excel is very important. So yeah, moving on. So that's that for working in the banking industry, domain knowledge, and the challenges I faced. So let's go to the fangs, right? Getting remote jobs. The first remote job I got was from a friend. You know, when I left the engineering industry, you know, I was learning these things. I was posting it on my WhatsApp. Then, you know, it was always fun. You know, when you do small dashboard, like, man, I could do this, and you send it on WhatsApp. So people took notice. Then the friend just he contacted me. I was like, okay, there is this NGO that they are doing a competition. They're running a competition, and they need a data analyst to help them. Like, fine, I can do it. I can do it. So the guy sent me the contacts. We made contacts. We agreed payment and everything, and I did the job. They paid me, but they didn't call me back. Why? Because I did rubbish. That was my first job. If I show you that analysis, man, you will laugh because it was. I feel embarrassed. I just stopped it somewhere but that was the first. That was my learning points. They didn't call me back, but I got paid. I mean, it was around 7,000 naira, 7,000 naira. It was a lot. It was a lot. So they didn't call me back. The guy said, so I said, "Guy, why are your people not calling me back?" He said, "No, maybe someone, the person they were using before, but I just knew more. No worry, I know." I know what's up. So that went, then I kept on practicing. Then I hadn't resumed at the bank at this period. That was January, February, you know, and I was very depressed. Why? Because I did the interview December and I was expecting my call-up letter, my offer letter, and it was just dragging. And I was like, man, are you sure these people are going to call me back or have they found a better person? I was like, man, I need to go back to remote. So I went on LinkedIn. I don't know if Kola is here. Yeah, Kola is here. So I went on LinkedIn and I think I changed my location to global remote. There's a way you can do that on LinkedIn. Jessica knows more about that. So I bombed like, let's see, an average of 30 remote jobs daily. I was just sending my application. I was just bombing them. Pa, 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 pa. You know, as I was bombing them, they were also rejecting me, like that I kept on bombing until a few replied. And then, yeah, so a few replied. Then that was when Facebook replied me, and one other one like that from Germany. So I went on with the Facebook interview. The first one was the first. I signed an NDA. I think the NDA stuff would have expired by now. Yeah, sure. So I was during the interview process. So the first interview was with guys from South Africa. The second interview were with guys from London. The third interview were with guys from London also. Although the role was for an intelligence analyst. But I was like, come on, analysis. As long as analysis, I can do it. So the first stage, I was like, okay, yes, what tools do you use? Blah, blah, blah. So the last stage we did. The guy was just, we were rapping. Then they dropped me because they were like, we see that your role is more in tune with business and you're looking for someone in intelligence, security and all that. I was like, maybe you guys should have told me all this one. But like, yes, we understand that this is, we are looking for someone, you understand? So that's the whole case with analysis is analysis. Thank you. So yes, so that one went. Then I applied again for, I think this one was normal. I think I saw the link somewhere. I can't remember where. So I applied. This was for a transport, was for a delivery service company in Kenya, Sendi is the name of the company. So I applied. They sent me case study. So let me quickly talk about case study. Case study is like they'll send you data sets with business questions. So let me quickly give you an arc on how to pass a case study stage of interview process. When you're sent a case study, they send you a data set, mostly is in Excel format, and they send you a set of business questions. The first thing to do is to understand the business questions and look for the columns that would answer each question. Take, for example, question one is, how many flights per day does Virgin Atlantic, how many flights per day does Virgin Atlantic take? That's correct, yeah. So you look for the columns, okay, this is columns of the airline. This is the flights per day. That is the two columns. You can just write it down somewhere. So when you're doing your pivot table or power pivots, you'll be able to quickly know that, okay, these are the two tables. Make sure you write it down. Okay, for question one, handling column A and B. Question two, they ask you the same questions. Write down the columns and the likely formula that you're going to use. It will be bad when, okay, you've already loaded up your data and you've done your pivot table and like, okay, question one, you don't want to understand the question. I mean, your time would have gone and all that. So take our time to identify the columns that would answer your question and move on. So yeah, I did the case study. I scaled through that. So we did an interview and the final interview, and I got the job. So what the job basically entails is they send you daily data, you have to read it. You see, the core fact about data analysis is in answering business questions. I know a lot of people are fascinated about visualizations, beautiful visuals, nice this. It's always, you want to use the best visualization tools. But the core is answer questions. If your Excel can answer these questions, the company wants to make money. The company, they are not really interested in the fancy tool you use. They just want to make money. Tell us how, just predict how many liters, is it liters of fuel? How many liters of fuel will the bike man need to travel this distance? Show them if it's Excel. Just make sure you answer business question. Think of business question. And another thing is we like to answer simple questions. I was discussing with someone. You just pick up any data set and you just do one nice dashboard and you just post it like, someone should help me check this out. These are very simple things. You need to go deeper because if you fail to answer the tougher questions, it will be more difficult for you. Just like when we're in secondary school, the class teacher gives us simple exercise, simple examples, then gives us tough exercise. It's the tough things that prepare you. Go deeper because what you just did in 20 minutes, it's basically very simple. how many DAX do you write to achieve? Most of us don't write DAXs. You don't write complex calculations. That's although it's not very important to write complex calculations if you don't need it. It's important for us to go deeper, ask deeper questions about your data. It's very easy don't just show things that people can easily see. You just want to say, okay, how many people walk 10 miles today? How many people walk? Answer questions like, why are people walking 10 miles today? Why are people aged 10 to 40 walking 10 miles? Very deep and intuitive questions that answer these kind of questions. And when someone sees your dashboard, you'll be like, wow, this guy is really. And that was the problem I had. I was always looking for, if you do Coursera courses, once they give you your exercise, they always give you the answer to the exercise. Once I see that it's very difficult, I just go straight to the answer, like, I can't keep myself. This is just a class, okay? It's just something I'm learning online. It's not as if it's deep. You understand? But take that deep part. If you take that deep route, it will be easier for you in the long run. You see, I left this route, and when I got into the industry, everything was just overwhelming. It was just because everybody saw me as a magician because of the way I performed in the interview. So everybody, yeah, come on, do this, come on. They were like, yeah, please, I'm just give me time. Just like 1 week, 2 weeks. Everyone was like, come on, is this the Moses you're talking about? Oh, nice to meet you. Yeah, they were just giving me data. Data said, like, calm down, beg. Understand? So take that deep routes, go deeper, ask more questions about your. Nobody's in competition with anybody. If you put out 10 visualizations a day on the group and everybody, okay, nice one, do this, it's fine. But if you do one, take example from your mentor, Jessica. People are putting 10 visualizations. She's not doing it, she's just keeping calm. But when she drops on like this, everybody like, because that's someone that she just one, no, people have dropped like 50. When she just coming to drop one and just so that's the thing. Do stuff that people will always, not very simple stuff that anybody, except it's your learning phase. If your learning phase is fine, just do things. But as you go deeper, make sure you ask deeper questions, do deeper things, and enjoy yourself. So that's so how did I start my data journey? 2020, during the lockdown, everybody wanted to do something. Even myself, I was tired of my present. I was like, okay, I think I need a master's degree. So the next position after me was facility management, because I was maintenance engineer and assistant facilities manager. So like, okay, I think the next stage is for me to be facilities manager. So I was like, okay, would I do a master's in FM? So this is a lockdown. How do I increase myself? I was looking for courses in project management, planning, all those stuff, all those engineering stuff. They're just like, these are theoretical stuff. I need something more practical. And then I told my then ex-girlfriend that I will need to do something more practical, my PC. I was like, okay, that's fine. You're a good computer guy. You can do it. So I just, okay, what do I do? So I was learning online. I was learning through Coursera and the likes, but I wasn't getting anything because I was just new. So everything was just overwhelming. And I was looking at the top guys, the guys that I looked up to in the role, and they were doing excellently. I was like, would I ever measure up to this guy learning like this? Like, no, I think I need a school. So that's one thing, know yourself. Most of us are very good with online courses, but most of us, we like the old school system, schedules, scheme of work and everything. So I registered on the Utiva. Then they taught us Excel, SQL. I think I stopped at SQL, just Excel, SQL, and a bit of Power BI. So I did that, and that opened the door for me. So once I got that foundational, all I just needed was the foundation. So once I got that foundational knowledge, I began to build it up on YouTube. I started taking online courses and the likes. So from there, I've gotten my foundational knowledge in Excel, SQL, and Power BI. So I decided to move to a tougher, Bass Python for data science, because I was confused at this point. A lot of us are also confused. Are we going through? Do we want to be data analysts or data scientists? So everything is just, although everything is interwoven, but in the long run, you would have to, just find your level, data, because people are making money using just Excel. So you can use your Excel. But I know everybody likes the fancy thing. I want to be a programmer, I want to do this, but it's all cool. I use Python a lot. Maybe I will share my GitHub page. I've dropped some projects. They haven't used that in a while. So after Utiva, I joined Data Science Nigeria. Another thing is, especially for the women on this group, you guys are very, very lucky. there's women in tech everything. It's like they're favoring you guys. Women in black. I mean, just last year we were like 20 in the class. They took 7 women to Lithuania. They just left the boys like that. So you guys are very lucky. There are several boot camps tailored towards women in tech. So you guys should leverage on this thing. Google is your friend, man. You guys should just Google these things. I think I was just Googling, man, boot camps, online boot camps and everything. I saw some that they've done the previous year, 2019, and they were not taking candidates again. So I was lucky. It was at the point where data scientists were taking candidates. So I got in, they started taking us Python, and I love the way they taught the Python. They were moving from the difficult stuff to the easy stuff. Understand? We do teach us one mad complex stuff like that, and they just give us a very simple. So like that we were going through. I was able to do projects using Python. You know, my GitHub page was booming at the point before I stopped. Where I'll still go back to Python. So my GitHub page was, so I did that. Then along the line, there was also Amoye AI Labs. If sorry, I forgot something. I know a lot of us, a few of us here did it. Amoye AI Labs. I did Utiva. I did Data Science Nigeria. I did Amoye AI Labs. Amoye AI Labs was also machine learning and some other data science stuff. So I did that. What was the time? I'll round up now. So sorry, I did that, and so that built up my Python skills, and that. So yeah, so that was my journey. So I started April. I'm 1 year this month. So I started April. Then when I discovered around the Ember months, the third quarter of the year, that gotten these skills, you know, I then decided to look for jobs. I knew that, okay, I've gotten these basic skills, so now I can apply for jobs. I can answer basic data science questions, but you can't know everything you can't know everything, pardon me. Understand? As you progress, even in your job, you also learn on the job and everything. I mean, when I'm working, I have my YouTube and Google station and all that. That because how to, nobody's going to beat you. How to, OT, can you help me do this? Okay, fine, I'll give you in like 30 minutes. And I'm on my desk, how to do this. Someone just, like, I just finished designing a PowerPoint project. I haven't done it before. It was through YouTube, and I bet you if they see this thing in the next 6 months, they're going to give me a promotion because it's very, understand? So yeah. So during the third quarter, I was confident enough to apply for data science job. I asked my guys to question. I had guys who he works as a data analyst with KPMG. You know, top guys. We were all data analysts and data science. So I asked them to send me basic interview questions for data analysts. So they asked me the number one question is they ask you what major projects do you use data analytics to solve and all that. So I was still working in the company, the engineering company. Most of you have traveled through Lagos. You would see there's a car park at the MMIA International Airport. That's car park. So that was where I did my maintenance engineering job. So I just did that. My background in engineering, I just took a list of all the equipment we were using, their power rating, and I multiplied it by the total, the energy that each of them consume. So I did that using Excel. Then I plotted the graph. I did some predictions. So so I gave it to the manager. He liked it. So they implemented it in their business, whatever, and it saved them some money. It saved them around 300,000 naira monthly. So that was my big project. So any interview, guy, what do you do? So every company wants to hear that I saved you, you helped them make profits or something. So they were all interested. Wow, you did that? Yeah, I did that using just Excel. So they told me that I needed a very good project, one or two. So I did that. And they asked me some other basic data science analyst questions. So I was prepared. So I started applying. No response. You know, I was depressed because my mind was off the engineering job. So I really needed, so I was depressed at that point because nothing was coming. And so the interviews upon interviews. So luckily for me, thank God I got this. And my 5 years time, I hope to be a data analyst consultant. So yeah, so that's what's up. So yeah, so I think that's just my data science journey. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm still smiling here, right? Because a lot of things Oti was saying, guys. I could relate with every single thing to be except maybe the ex part. Oti, why did you and your ex break up? We'll talk about that later. Broke up with
Another session we'll do managing your partner with the job.
You know the funny thing, I'm going to put out I'm trying to put out a tweet tomorrow around relationships. You know, that's not my new area of expertise. So don't worry.
That's yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. Like I've written a whole lot. I wish I could share the screen. I've been typing like since you were talking. Thank you. Please drink water. I know you need water because questions are coming. Please.
Oh shit.
Thank you so much. Guys, some of you have asked questions, right? I've seen from Ayo, I've seen from Christian. I also have my own questions here. I don't think I've typed it. So if Ayo wants to speak or Christian, just raise up your hand so that I can unmute you or something, right? I don't know if you can unmute yourself. So Ayo, do you want to ask your question or do you want me to ask it for you?
I can ask it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, if you were to do things differently, if you were to start your career over again, what are the things you're gonna do differently, and how would you do it differently? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the things I would do differently is I wouldn't jump from tool to tool in this journey. I would ensure that out of, let's say, mastery level is from 1 to 10, I will ensure that I reach like 7 before I move to another tool. Take, for example, Excel, I would ensure that I have a 7% mastery out of 10 of Excel before I move to other tools like Python or SQL and the likes. Because at this point, I have to go back to know the basic stuff in Excel and everything. So it's like a drag now, something I should have done because I was more about the fancy tool. I wasn't interested in, data analyst wasn't sounding cool enough. I wanted to do machine learning projects, predict a lot of stuff, build bots and all that. So if I were to go back, I would ensure that I learn these tools to a certain level of mastery, not jumping. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Christian, do you want to ask a question? Should I ask it for you? You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Otsi.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jessica. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sure.
Okay, great. Okay, so my question is, at some point you were at saying, was it data analyst or data science? Like, are you gonna choose, which are you gonna choose? That's the question that's been on my head. I actually don't know which of which, because right now I want to do the complex stuff because I have an engineering background. I feel the complex stuff is for us, but again, I'm also of the opinion that I need to know the basics. So where do I start? Analyst or scientist?
I think Jessica, you're also going to answer this. Let me just give my bit. What are the major tools a data analyst use? Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau. They answer business questions. A data analyst answer questions. You have a data set or you generate a data set and you're answering these questions using these basic tools. As Excel, SQL, although you can move on to Azure and some other tools like that. So Excel, SQL, and Power BI are just the basic, are just the foundational tools, but the other tools you can also use. Then to graduate to a data scientist, right, you need tools like, that means you have to be very strong using Python, maybe R, and some other, Azure for machine learning and all that. A data scientist, the jobs of, okay, let me just explain now. Where I work, there are data analysts and there are data scientists. The jobs of the data scientists is they predict, they do loan prediction, they create chatbots, they create, it is as if you're a programmer. So just know where your strengths lie. If you are very good in programming languages, because I know a lot of people say you don't need to know programming languages to be a data scientist, but if you have a very strong base in these programming languages, Python, Java and the likes, those APIs and the likes, you would do very well as a data scientist. But as a data scientist, the beauty of a data scientist is that if you are a data scientist, you can work as a data analyst. But as a data analyst, you can't easily transit to data science. But as a data scientist, it's not that difficult. So that's my bit. But Jessica, please, I'd like you to say one or two about this too.
Oti is right. Why is Kola raising up his hand? Kola, put your hand down. What do you want to ask? Why is Kola raising up his hand? Yeah, Oti is right. I'm going to say this. So even as data analysts, companies now are looking for data analysts that can program in Python, which is funny. An interview I did last week, was it on Tuesday? I'm waiting for feedback from them. I was teaching Python to the hiring manager. And I was surprised because I'm like, this role, sometimes I see job roles like that. They'll ask you to use, now for a data analyst, right? They will tell you in the job description, know your Power BI, Tableau, whatever. They write all the tools there. You see Python, you see R. Not everybody knows these things, right? You can't know everything. So if maybe sometimes I tell people, if you meet at least 50% of the job requirements, apply for it. Yeah. And like Otis said, at least achieve at least 70% mastery in this tool. You don't have to know everything about the tool, as long as you can explain your basics. Because if you have in at the back of your mind that an interview is just 30 minutes, you're not going to start asking you to explain the whole of Tableau or Power BI or Python to them. It's just for them to see how you think. That's basically how interviews go. How does this person think? So you heard when Oti was talking about how he does his job, where they are bringing stuff for him to do. He has Google stuff, and then he during his interview, he had to explain around his projects. That was basically what I was doing with the hiring manager, explaining the projects done. He told me to pick one that was very interesting to me, and I started explaining it to him. That was basically it. And then we started talking about Tableau. He wasn't asking me what's LOD in Tableau. He wasn't asking me what's DAX in Power BI. He was just basically trying to get an idea of how do I think through complex issues. So again, it's not just, even sometimes some people go to interviews, they don't know how to use Excel, but when they talk about Excel today, it would be like they've been using Excel for 10 years. So if you're very confident in what you do, even if you achieve maybe 20%, 30%, go for the interviews. You can use the interviews to practice, right? That's sometimes what I do. I apply for jobs that I probably don't know everything, but get to the interview, they're asking you basic stuff. So again, Oti is right. Start from the basics and then know where your strengths lie. Obviously, if you're doing data science, there are a lot of people are bringing a lot of no-code tools nowadays, but I still feel you need to know what is behind those no-code tools to be a data scientist. So your Python is very important. Kola will argue with me that you need to know R. I see him raising up his hand again. But please, for data science, if you're into ML stuff, then use Python. If I explained it last time, if you're more heavy on statistical analysis, then please use, sorry, I need to admit to point to the room. Then please use R. Yeah, use R. Kola, I'll give you 1 minute.
Can I? Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so for that, my approach to it is, what problem are you trying to solve? Like, we have all the data. In some cases, you're trying to understand what data is. You're trying to perform, say, descriptive analytics on the data. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. So you're trying to perform descriptive analytics. They want you to take a data set and extract insights from it. In some other situation, they want you to be able to take a data set and use it to predict some other things that happen. So now in the world, the data science, data analytics terms are thrown about up and down, meaning different things, but you really have to dig into what problem you're trying to solve. When you're trying to do the predictive thing, then you're talking about the machine learning and all the models and stuff. But then just analysis, looking into the data for reporting purposes, for investigative purposes, We're now looking at what most of the world calls data analysis. Everything still requires analyzing the data. Understand? So you want to do complex things. So trust me, both of them are complex, the predictive and the descriptive. So you just have to still dig deeper into what you want to do. If you want to be able to build models to predict future things, which is very complex in its own self, or sounds even very more complex, you can't go into the machine learning stuff. But everyone still usually has to go through working with data in the first place. So can you work with data? Can you take a data set from its raw form and then process it to a clean enough form to do anything with it? You have to be able. So now, in working with data, that's when the tools come in. Some tools are required.
I can't seem to hear you again.
You can't. Oh, sorry, a call was coming in here. Am I clear now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
So in working with data, you can. Okay, so we have different tools available. We have GUIs and we have spreadsheets like Excel and stuff, and we have reporting tools like Power BI, Tableau, and then depending on the size of data you might want to get and the flexibility that you want, you might want to get into the programming aspect. When you want to go do things beyond even beyond what the graphical interfaces can offer you, you want to go into the programming part of it. And when you want to do very complicated advanced things, you go into the programming part of it. So in summary, before Jessica mutes me, you ask yourself what you really want to do. What problem do you want to solve with the data? Do you want to be able to take Twitter data and know what was in people's minds in the year 2020, like Jessica did? Or do you want to build a model to predict stuff like I think Gift did a couple of days back? So you know what you want to do and then act accordingly. So it's not really it's not a complex or simple thing or anything. So I think that's fine. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kola. Thanks also to Tutu and Wilfred. Like they've typed a lot of things in the chat. I've also put it in our notes. Please, guys, if you want me to mention you, because yeah, please Wilfred, can you drop your Twitter handle for me, please? I don't know if I have you already. And Tutu, please drop your Twitter handle so that when we put out the notes, I will mention you if you want to be mentioned, please. We have about 9 minutes, guys. I just want to rush through the questions we have. So Otsi, someone is asking, right? What kind of projects do you recommend for a beginner? That's from Ugo. It says, what kind of projects do you recommend for a beginner?
Okay, for a beginner, what kind of projects do you want to do? Well, basics. Depends on what you are. Just the simple stuff. I think this. If you're running ML, the basic this cancer prediction, the Titanic, because a lot of people have done a lot of projects. So not projects. They've done a lot of jobs on. There's this. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name. On cargo. The very common ones are Titanic, as you're predicting the number of people who would have survived or so. There's Titanic, there's breast cancer, that one, there's this wine tests. Yeah, those are the three common ones that I know: wine tests, breast cancer, and Titanic, different models. So just do that. And yeah, for data science, just try and work on those three common ones. Yeah. I mean, you'll be fine. Then from there, you can upgrade. Then you can start doing hackathons, joining hackathons. I think I did one hackathon with Data Science Nigeria from Zindi. You can join Zindi.com as well. Zindi, they run hackathons, so you can just join them to, upgrade. You can join a team or something and do something. But start with the basics: loan detection, Titanic, breast cancer. Yeah, fine.
Okay, thank you. So basically, use your cargo. If you're into data viz as well, Tableau is also there for you. Collar says try to solve a problem end to end. That's really important as well. Like it helps you to have something to talk about during an interview. Another question, OT. So we have like two more, three more, because Aya has raising up his hand. Aya, I saw you raise up your hand. Don't worry, I'll call you to speak. I just want to get through these two questions for OT. The next question says, I'm a beginner in data analysis. So basically, I like to call it data analytics. There are two different things. I'm a beginner in data analytics. Apart from Excel, SQL, and Tableau, what other tools can I learn? This is from Modupe. Yeah.
Well, learn your Python. You are good. If you want to learn R to, if you are heavy on statistics, you can learn R instead. Then move on to learn to use. Okay, let me just tell you the tools I use at work. So maybe that will help. Excel, SQL, Power BI. Also use Power Platforms. Let me see. I think I downloaded something like that. Power Apps. You should be even your Power Apps. Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau. You can learn. Okay, you said you do not use those three. Learn your Python or R if you're on statistics. Know your Power Apps. To build apps and deploy them. Know your Power Apps, and also Azure as well. Azure for data science. So yeah. So those are the basics, and you'll find that.
Yeah. Thanks so much. So we have like two more questions, I think. Two more. Yeah. Okay. I have dropped. So we have two more questions before we round up. The next one says, I'm a banker. So I just want to get the person's name. Yeah, okay. So I'm a banker. This is from Faith. It says I'm a banker and I'm passionate about transitioning to a business data analyst career path, but I have no experience in data analytics. How can she successfully transition? So after that, Ayo would speak and ask this question.
Okay, that's beautiful. If you're already in the banking industry, you have access to a lot of data. Just start by answering or solving simple bank problems. Take, for example, you can work with your performance management team. Just analyze your performance. First is you're a banker already, so you have access to a lot of data. Like I said, solve simple projects in the banking industry. Take, for example, performance data. I'm sure you guys have a performance management team. You can liaise with anyone you know in that department, get performance data. Just try to, like Kola mentioned, there are several forms of analysis. There is descriptive, there is predictive. Show that one again, the Kola mentioned. Descriptive, prescriptive, yeah.
There are two D's and one and two T's, I think.
Two P's, yeah. Prescriptive, predictive, diagnostic.
Yeah, exactly.
Diagnostic. Yeah, so you can just get this data. I think the easiest of them is there's no easiest of them. So you can just run a descriptive analysis on like a simple performance data, know why, just plot like age with performance, or plot department with performance, or team lead with performance. Those are just basic simple data. Or you can work with your HR, on exit data, analyze why people are leaving the company, the bank, what age range rather of people are leaving the bank, or what grade of people are leaving the bank. So just layers, we just try and get data. I'm sure you'd have made some friends or had access to these people, especially if you're not working in HQ where I work, because there are like several floors. You can't meet everybody at the same time. So if you're working in like branches, you can just there are people around you, or team lead, or where you can get data. So just get this data and just analyze simple questions. You don't need to use complex tools. With your Excel, you can do that. Yeah, and also on YouTube or any of these online classes, you can just get simple data, business inclined business inclined data, because it seems since you're in bank industry, you want to work on business intelligence. So business inclined data, and just answer basic questions. Then from there, you begin to upgrade. Because from where I was coming from, I was just solving everything until I got into the industry. Then I began to streamline into just business, answering business questions and everything. Because nobody wants to know that I'm an HC, human capital data analyst. I work with the human capital team, the business partnering part of the bank, where we liaise with. That's so just do that. Then from there, when you get into the industry, you begin to upskill. Yeah.
Thank you. So we're running out of time, so I'm trying to be fast. So I'll leave I you can ask your question now. Thanks.
Thank you, Jessica. So I was talking to a data analyst the other day, and I was letting him know that I was in triggers and indexes in my SQL learning. And he was like, that's too much for an interview. So what exactly are the tools, or how much knowledge should I know to be able to sell myself properly in an interview for a data analysis role? Thank you.
Yeah, what do you need to know? Well, my interview experiences are, okay, simple tip. Like I said, I work in HR, so we conduct interviews. So the first stage of your interview is, tell me about yourself, your strengths, what tools do you use? Nobody's going to ask you, can you do this? Sure, they might ask you, but the first stage is usually just the introductory part. Then you are moved to case study. Case study is where they send you a data set and you have to work on. They said that nobody's going to tell you to use Excel, SQL, or Power BI. But for ease, well, if you like your Power BI, I recommend Excel, because nobody's going to ask you very tough questions. The data sets are going to send you data sets that Excel can handle. So once you're through that stage, then you're moved to the next stage. The next stage is where they present business cases to you, and they ask you, how would you solve it using your tools? And you tell them, okay, once I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that. So you don't need to be too technical in have a lot of technical knowledge in a particular tool to be able to scale through an interview. If you've gone through the introductory stage, you've done your case study very well, and the last stage is where they throw you business questions, and you are able to answer these questions using a particular tool. The first thing they'll throw you a business question. Can you answer it? You answer it, how you solve it, and this, and then they ask you, what tool will you use? And you tell them, okay, I'll use Excel to solve this by doing this, by doing a pivot model, then doing this, then whatever that's the case. So you don't need to be too technical. But for your own good, it's important for you to know the technicalities, because when you getting the job is another ballgame entirely. They just throw you data sets and you're expected to answer it. I mean, you told them you could do it in the interview stage, so solve it for us. You understand? So yeah, so that's what's up.
Yeah.
Are you clear?
So you
Yes,
can also
I'm
look
clear.
at the
Thank
chat,
you.
because Kola is also typing something. Just simple queries. I also mentioned a couple of days back, I think on Discord, on our Discord server, that I did some interviews. So they asked me to do some technical, what do you call it? I think you did OT. Like a case study kind of, but like they give you exams, like technical exams. It's not exam, quiz or whatever. I don't know what to call it. The same thing you do with Hacker Rank and Coda Bytes, right? Things like that. So, and everything was around SQL. And basically what they asked was if you can use your basic select statement, you're not creating any table, your select, count, order by, group by, you're good. If you can write those queries, like get what's the count of this from a data set. It wasn't anything hard, then sort it in ascending order. That was all. They didn't go into window function. Maybe for like the big companies, they can go into that. But for entry level roles, if you can do simple queries, you're fine, right? Even as OT said, 70%, right? You can know 20, you can know 50%, but if you're able to go into the interview and speak with confidence, what you're saying, sometimes you see people that are saying rubbish, but they're saying it with a lot of confidence. That's how your interview should go. I see that a lot sometimes. I'm like, what you're saying is rubbish, but you're saying with a lot of confidence. So people that don't even know so much, I don't want to think about what you're saying. They just assume you know what you're saying. So obviously, I don't expect you not to know. From what you said, you already know a lot of things already. So I assume you're good to go. And I just have one more question. Star method, yes, Camille, I think that is, there's one question I saw from Lekon. I just want us to go through that. So Lekon says there are a lot of courses online. What courses do you recommend? What courses do you recommend, and which sector of data analytics would you also recommend? So that'll be the last question we'll take, guys. If there are more questions, please just type them, right? The chat will be saved. Please, and we'll answer them. You see on our Twitter page or Instagram page, we'll answer all the questions. So if you have more, just type them. I'll send it to Oti to answer them. So Oti, can you just help us answer that one from Lekon?
Okay, yes. On the courses to recommend, although I haven't stopped learning, but I've dropped courses, I've dropped learning online and stuff. But I think you and Linda, you can answer that. But the second part of the question is, what area of data analytics do you recommend? Well, it depends on your strength. Me, I just threw myself out there. I was looking for a data job. Anyone, whether it's fishery data analyst, I was ready to take it. You understand? So number one, it depends on your strengths. Where does your strength lie? Are you a better are you a financial person? You can focus more on financial analysis, but don't box yourself. Don't box yourself up. Be open to new roles and new opportunities. But you can leverage on your financial analysis. Have you worked in the airline before and you love airline data? You know, airlines now you're looking for data analysis, but the thing is you will not see the adverts. It's mostly internal recruitment and stuff. So yeah. So you just depends on your strengths, your background. Are you a medical person and you love medical data? Yeah, you can let's just say 1 to 100%. You can just give yourself 60% learning to your core competencies. You're competent in finance, learn more on the finance side, but the remaining 40%, just be open. You can learn anything. You don't need to. I mean, Jessica, she's a graduate of engineering, so now she's doing wonderful things. I also did the engineering. I'm doing so. Don't box yourself. Don't put yourself in the corner. So just you have strength. Everybody has a strength. So give 60% attention to your strength and 40% be open to learning wide. And if opportunities come from that 40%, it's good for you. Expand on it. Yeah, but if opportunities come in your area of expertise, good for you. So I've answered that. So about courses to learn, I think Jessica would, or are you in the data tech space group? If you are, there are a lot of courses there, just follow through. But don't pressure yourself, don't overwhelm yourself with courses, just be cool, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why you keep calling my name. Yeah, I'm learning. You can see I'm taking notes as well. Well, honestly, there are a lot of courses, and that was one of the reasons why we started data tech space, to be honest. There are a lot of courses. Even myself, I was confused. If I tell you I started learning Python, it was rugged. But at the end of the day, I think if you find one, so I don't know, Lekon, if you can answer us if you're on data tech space, so that we can just, if you're not, just let me know. Or you're waiting, okay, oh, sorry. Okay, so that means you'll be with us this week, right? If you registered already, that means you'll be with us this week. So what I can do is this. Give me. I'm trying to see how you can. Okay, you'll be on the Telegram group, so I'll post something on the Telegram group today. If you're not, you can just join the Telegram group. The link is somewhere. You can. I'll post the link. But if you're not, you can just join the Telegram where I'll post something today. So for courses, Ekoti said a lot. So basically, if you're starting with Excel, there's some Excel courses we have recommended on DTS. There's Excel courses everywhere actually. If you're starting with SQL, SQL, Tutu recommended one on Udemy. There are free courses on Udacity. There's also one that Linda brought to us on W3 Schools. I used that when I was doing the test I had last week. I actually used that to get some things I'd forgotten in SQL. So W3 Schools is also good. It's free. Free Code Camp is also starting something with data science as well. I recommend, if you're doing Python for data analysis or data science, I recommend Jose Portilla on Udemy. So I'll post this list. I also have a list on my website, I think, but I'll also post that again. I think I posted it. Oh, Data Camp is not free, caller. I tried using Data Camp, but it isn't free. Except I don't know if there's a way to get financial aid. Also on Coursera has some very beautiful courses as well. You can apply for financial aid. Oh, it was free for you. Oh, nice. But I know I had to pay for Data Camp at some point. But if it's free, we recommend that because they'll actually teach it step by step, to be honest. So I'll post some things and hopefully that would help. That would help us. But I think we're done now, so I don't overshoot the time. OT, do you have any closing remarks for us? Please.
Any
Closing remarks.
Yeah, everybody just enjoy yourselves, enjoy the journey. Don't be depressed like I was. Your time will come. Just keep learning, keep doing, keep connecting, keep connecting. I mentioned, I don't know if it's right to mention the other people or communities I'm connected with. But
Yeah, please.
there's an
Because
Excel
that was a
community.
question as well. Yeah, please mention. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you're on Telegram, there's an Excel community. I mean, these guys are pros in Excel, like mad pros in Excel. So if I have an Excel, maybe just contact me on, if you're on data text space, you can send me a message or on Twitter at, just I'll drop my Twitter handle. So I'll send you the Telegram link. These are mad pros in Excel. Once I'm stuck, I just send a message to the group and they give solutions. So yeah, on Telegram. Also on Telegram, there's a Power BI group I belong to. So these are just communities that I'm in. I'm also an alumni with Utiva. So we have like, I've also tutored with Utiva. So we have like a group. And so do not forget the place of mentorship. You need people who are out there already who will be able to guide you and push you through. So if you have questions, you can just reach out to them and they help you. And also reach out to your peers. I mean, there's a lady that once she's stuck, she has a job at work and she's stuck. She just sent me, I need to solve this. And if I don't know it, I Google it too. And I learn. It's a learning process for me too. And we share together. She does a video and all that. So leverage on asking questions and connecting with people. No man is an island. Everybody's learning. I mean, core programmers too, they also Google stuff. So ensure you join communities like Data Tech Space, and I also share some of the communities I made. Yeah, so that's all, man. No pressure, no pressure. Just keep learning.
So thanks so much. So for everyone here, we'll send the recording as well. So in case you miss anything, I'll send it out at least this week. You get it before Wednesday. Summary like we did the last time for all that OT has talked about, as well as the Q&A. So thank you to everyone that contributed and asked questions. Tutu, Wilfred, OT, Kola. What am I missing? Ayo, Christian, everybody, Moturayo, Ugo, everyone here actually. You guys really make it this work. So obviously, if you have any questions, please send me a message. Just reference what it's about, and then I'll answer you. My handle is the same everywhere, like Instagram, Twitter, it's the same. OT, I put OT's chat, I'll put it again. He's not on Instagram, but you can reach him on Twitter. His handle is there, 2_Bab. So thanks again, everyone, and have a very, very good weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.